Hey everybody, welcome back to Lessons Learned, the podcast where we aim to turn our experiences into your wisdom. I'm Randy, here today with Chris, Jared, Joe, and Talon. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of surrounding yourself with the right people and what that means to us. And we're going to test out a little bit of video today for you guys, so hopefully we'll be able to put this up on YouTube and you can see our faces a little bit as we go here. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jerome Flynn. Yeah. I was expecting that one. Where are you?
No, that was a good one.
Yeah. What's up? First time seeing us record, huh? It's good to see you. I can't see you, but you can see me. Yeah. Good friends, right? Now we talked about true friends. Now we're going to be talking more about like the types of people you hang out with. So for us, we like to hang out with each other because we're all, you know, got sort of like an entrepreneurship spirit. Entrepreneur spirit? That's what I meant.
Entrepreneurial.
Disease.
Words are hard.
Big words. Words are very hard.
It's the camera, dude. It's got me nervous.
Here we go.
But so it's important to, you know, you don't want to hang out with people who are just going to drag you down. Like someone who complains a lot like me. I don't know how you guys actually put up with me.
You're awful.
All I do is put you guys
I
down.
don't.
Yeah, Joey just gets angry, which makes sense.
Chris, I want to punch you in the face when we were staging that picture the other day.
Well, it came out good, though.
It did come out good.
So anyway, these are examples, right? Like, yeah, I'm a pain in the ass, but I help people. So what do you guys think about this subject?
I think we can also reiterate kind of what we explained in the Good Friends or True Friends episode, where we talk about how to deal with negative people and just kind of how to like navigate through that whole situation.
True. Also, speaking of negative, real quick, it's -20 outside here in Omaha.
Gross.
Freezing.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so just
Miserable.
a little update on our lives.
My hands are cold. I actually might bring out the hand warmers.
Yeah, it's pretty cold in here. I think it's like 65 probably in this basement. I mean, studio. But
F's in the chat.
yeah. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with. So, yeah, friends. Randy,
That's me.
What's your takeaway on this?
So I think in life you need to surround yourself with people who are going to help move you forward. And this was something, it was funny because I had a couple friends when I was a kid that my dad didn't particularly like. And I kind of never understood it because they always seemed like they were good people. But now, as an adult, I get it. So the problem was, he would always say, he's like, I want you to hang out with other people than this person. And I'd be like, why? He's my friend. He's like, yeah, but he's not going to get you anywhere in life. Like, you want to surround yourself with people who are going to like kind of advance with you. You need to be around people who are kind of in the same stage as life with you. And you don't want people who are going to hold you back.
I got a good example of that.
Okay.
You ready for this? Oh, you ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Come on.
But yeah, remember how me and Tom were painting the glorious studio yesterday?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I helped a little bit.
You did. You
That's
did 2
true.
walls out of 5.
You guys did like 75%
I'm
of the
kidding.
work.
No, you helped out. But I called Randy up yesterday. I said, Randy, why aren't you moving out here? And, you know, we had a discussion. And we're just trying to get him to move away from home and, like, get out here. Like, we're going to support him. Like, the way we put it was you can literally just pack up, move out here, and, like, you can live with us for free until you find a job and, like, get on your feet, you know? Like, that's the type of people we're going to be talking about today. Like,
Yeah.
those type of people that are just there for you, trying to, like, help you in life. Like, it's so key to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's, you know, and again, that's why we all work as friends. I think we're kind of in the same place. We're in kind of the same I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Like same point in life.
Yeah. And like I think we all kind of want similar things for ourselves. I think that helps. Like when you're
mindset, right?
Yeah. When you're friends with somebody who like wants something completely different, like for instance, one of my friends growing up was kind of, he was just really like laid back and just kind of was like, oh, I just want to like chill. And I was more like, I want to go to college. I want to get an education. I want to like be this. I want to make good money. And it's kind of like, we weren't really as compatible as friends because for that reason, it was kind of like he was holding me back. It's just like, but when you're younger like that, you can't see that when it's right in front of you.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean like that person, they're not a bad friend by any means, but they just want something else in life than you. So you just have to, at some point, you just have to decide, is it worth me spending more time with this guy, even though he's a good friend, but he's
Right.
just not helping me grow as a person.
Right, and you never let those friends go. Like, if they're a good friend, they're a good friend. Like, I'm not advocating, like, even though somebody's not a good friend, but they want something different than you in life, that you can't be friends with them. But I think as far as when I say surrounding yourself with the right people, it's like, okay, you can be friends with that guy, but you also need people in your life who are going to help move you forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you might not break things off with that friend, but you would devote less time to them.
You wouldn't start a podcast with that person because you know what kind of friend they are, and they probably wouldn't be able to support you.
Yeah,
exactly.
An adventure like
Start
that.
a podcast with you guys.
He wouldn't do it all by himself.
No, I'm kidding.
One
I
man
don't know
podcast.
I don't know if I can really associate with people who eat Panda Express 8 times a week, though. So
Yeah, I don't think any of us can really.
There's just something wrong with those people.
It's Joe.
Joe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's Panda?
But I got another good example. So I was texting Sam. She's deployed right now. So I was texting her the other day, and I was like, I really enjoy talking to you because we can have meaningful conversations as friends and actually vent to each other and talk about where we want to go in life. What's a good example? She was struggling. She's like, I kind of homesick. I was like, I know, I've been through it. I've deployed 7 times already. I know exactly what you're going through. And I gave her a timeline of how our emotions are gonna work because of my experiences. And it's nice to have you can reach out to someone and especially if they've been through it before. So Randy, if you moved out here, I'd be like, hey man, look, it's gonna be a struggle. You're gonna feel homesick. You're gonna miss your family, but you'll get over that. And here's a timeline of how it worked for me.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think along with that, it's important to realize, there are 2 things that someone can respond to with that. If they're a negative person, they can either try to top your grief or whatever you're going through. They can try to top that with, oh, I've been through way worse and stuff. They try to top your little, what you're going through. And then also they could just be happy, kind of find joy that you're in a hard time.
Yeah.
And those are some clear signs that you might not be hanging around the right people.
Yeah,
And-
that first
yes.
one that you said is actually one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah, I
they're,
hate that.
they're the type of
Pretty
people
common.
that you can go to them and it's just man, I had a terrible day. This happened, this happened, this happened. They don't listen to you. All they do is then respond is oh no, this happened to me. I think that's significantly worse. It's just I was talking about how bad my day was. I was gonna ask you how yours was, but yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
just ignoring all of my feelings right now.
Well, a good
I
example for us
hate
is
that.
when we deploy and they're like, oh, your deployments aren't even tough. Shut up, man. I'm not home.
Yeah.
I'm away from everything I own. I'm on a different time zone. My phone doesn't work. Leave me. What are you talking about? It's a cush deployment.
And then, you could talk to people who are grunts in the Army or the
Yeah.
Marines and be like, yeah, we aren't getting shot at, but
yeah.
everyone still has a difficult time being away from family.
Right, dude. It's
Right.
not
It's all
easy.
perspective. It's everyone's different anyways.
Yeah,
so
And
That's a pet peeve, too.
So yeah, if you have a friend that tries to top whatever grief or whatever your situation is, understand that what you're going through is important as well, and try to realize that.
Yeah. I always that's one thing that I try and do because that's something that I hate as well. If somebody's texting me because they're having a bad day, I could be having a bad day. I could know I'm having a worse day than them. I could be positive about it, but I'm not going to be oh, well, this is what happened to me today. No,
Yeah.
they're texting me because they're looking for someone, for maybe a little bit of comfort or to talk through something that they're going through, not for me to bitch about, what's happening in my day and totally downplay what's happening in theirs. Heck, yeah, I could be having a worse day, but they reached out about their day, not mine.
yeah.
Exactly.
And then if they
you're
want to
not-
ask me and say oh, what do you have going on? Then that's when you say oh, well, this happened. It really sucked and blah, blah, blah. But at that point, it's about them, not about you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And I liked, so Chris kind of mentioned that you told Sam, hey, this is I've been through this. This is kind of what you can kind of expect to some degree. We talked about it multiple times on the show, but mentorship. Your friends can be your greatest mentors. You could probably read books and articles to learn all that stuff, but it really means a lot when a personal friend comes to you and tells you all these things. It's hey, this is how you can get through this.
Yeah, exactly.
Take advantage of stuff like that. Get the experiences of your friends and let them be your mentor, even if it's just for one moment or one struggle in life.
Yeah, I have something to add to that too. So there's a saying, I forget the saying.
Ooh, here it comes.
Uh-oh.
It's don't give pearls to swine or something. where it's like,
yeah, I know what you're
if you have wisdom, or you're trying to mentor a friend and they don't want to listen, then
Screw
don't
it.
bother.
Yeah, not worth your
Because
time,
yeah, I mean, you're just telling yourself, okay, my words don't mean anything. Like they aren't valuable to other people.
I have the best
Which
words.
it's pretty brutal, but you know, something that I heard from Jordan Peterson is along the same lines is surgery is brutal, but you have to go through it. You know, you have to rip a person open, and you have to go through that process in order to heal them. And yeah, if you want to like give your friends good advice, sometimes you gotta rip them open, and it's a brutal process.
I mean, that's kind of, we talked about it before, like even like hard truth, or I mean, we kind of just tell people like, I'll if you're knowing me, or if I think you're doing something wrong, I'll just be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it's like that's tearing you open right there, because it's like I want you to like see what you're doing, or why it just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
For sure.
So if a friend is able to receive the advice that you give them, or at least try to understand it and like talk to you about it more, then, or at least seem like, you know, maybe they don't understand it at the time, but at least seem like they're trying to receive it in a good way, then yeah, that's a good friend.
Yeah, they should be able to tell when you're trying to actually help them, versus like if you're just trying to insult them. They shouldn't get defensive. Hopefully they shouldn't get defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be just friends too. It could be like, it's just who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
you know, you work sometimes and you just don't vibe with people, right? Like currently my situation, I'm not vibing with somebody, and it drives me insane, and it bothers me because I can't control who I'm around anymore, because like he's in my office, like that's who I got to deal with, and it's tough. Like it kind of sucks, but you just got to roll with the punches, I guess. I don't really have a solution for that because you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have a choice in the matter, and sometimes you just have to deal with it. But, you know, at the same time, you can only control what you can control. So, like, you know what kind of people you want to be around. And, like, yeah, in certain situations, like in work-type situations, you can't really do anything about who you're put around because, you know, whoever, like in my case, like if somebody gets hired that's not good, then that's just, it is what it is. Like, I have to deal with it. But that doesn't mean I have to hang out with that person outside of work.
True. Yeah. But you got to deal with that person for, 8 hours a day now?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tough. It's like, I guess the one thing you can do, because we offer solutions here at Lessons Learned Podcast.
We try to.
Is sit down with that person and have that conversation. Just be like, hey, this is my personality. I'd really love for it to work with you. And like, right now it's not, and here are the reasons why, and here's what I think we can do. Even I will help. I will sacrifice a little bit of my personality and like try and mesh this together so it's less stressful for everyone.
Yeah, that's just a nice and professional thing to do. It's better to just be upfront than just let the relationship because you have, like you said, you have to you have to sit there 8 hours a day probably with this person. So you don't want to just be sitting there just frustrated your entire day, and like you said, let it stew, and at some point you're just going to explode.
And I feel like that comes with like a sense of maturity, because dude, 2 years ago I would never do that, but I plan on doing it this week. So like, you can't be afraid of what people think of you. Like, who cares? No. If I see a problem, I'm gonna confront it, you know. So, sorry, there's a dog. There she is. There's the tail.
Surround yourself with dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Surround yourself with dogs.
If you just do that,
honesty,
you're good.
Cool. So for like a good example is when, you know, we were all going through shit this year, or I guess last year at this time now. And we're like, you know, we're all kind of in the same boat. Like we want to do something more. We want to get our voices heard, you know? So we were like, me and Randy were like, why don't we start YouTube? And then Jared's like, why don't we start a podcast and do it on YouTube? We're like, oh, yes.
Brilliant.
Jared stole my thunder,
great.
you bastard.
And then, you know what? We were always afraid, like since day one, I was like, I don't want anyone to lose steam. Like, I don't want someone to get like 3 months in and be like, I don't want to do it anymore. And none of us have done that. Like, we're all like, keep pushing, let's keep going. And those are the type of people that you need, right? Like, if you know, I mean, we were very selective of who we let on and everything, right? I mean,
right.
Oh no, you kind of just put a message out in the group chat. It's
exclusive.
like, who wants to be in the podcast?
I mean,
at the beginning,
yes.
And then it was kind of selective to some degree. Yeah.
But we don't want people who are just gonna be like, well, I don't really want to do that today. Like, I'm kind of over it. Like, that's not the type of people you want. You want the type of people who wake up and push you, right? For Jared works out. He's big small, but I mean, he goes to the gym. He tries to, at least.
Jared doesn't even do legs.
Just his calves are bigger than my biceps. So.
I know.
He has very specific pants meant
Yeah.
for bigger
Calves
thighs.
are bigger than my biceps.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's like, for example, I work out with him. Used to, at least. He's about to quit the gym, but whatever.
Nerd.
Save that money. Financial minimalism.
Hey.
Yeah.
But like a spotter, like your workout partner is a perfect example of this person, right? They're not gonna, a good one is not gonna get in there and be like, all right, dude, you ready to go home? Like, I'm done. They're gonna push that other person, like, come on, dude, another set, you got it, like another rep, let's go, right? That's the type of people you need in life. Like, that's a good analogy. Get yourself a workout partner in life, right?
Honestly,
Oh,
a spotter is
Chris.
a great analogy as a good friend because they're there to
Yeah.
push you. But if you
And also save you.
can't, if you can't do it, they're there to help you. Like they're literally
Exactly.
there to protect you.
They know
so,
the middle ground, too.
Yeah.
Get yourself
Yeah.
a workout
Facts.
partner. Boom.
In life,
see.
though.
In
In life.
Not
Yeah.
heading to the gym. Maybe we should hit the gym.
You need both.
We could all hit the gym a little bit more.
Yeah, both.
Chris, if I move out there, we can reunite as workout partners.
Yeah, that's true.
yes.
You better
We
move out
used
here.
to be.
Jared leaves and Randy
Yes,
will come in to
Randy.
replace him.
Swoop in,
Yeah.
save the day.
Yes.
You got to move
Watch.
out here first, though.
He's not going to work out
Oh.
with you, Chris. He's going to work out with Jared.
I just ditched you for Jared.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
he
going
makes
on
it
base.
that
Fuck
way.
you, Chris.
Yes.
So we kind of talked about friends, coworkers. There's one big thing left in your life, right?
Yeah.
Family. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
The
what do you
fam.
do if a family member, or even like, let's say your best friend, because that's basically like a family member too. But for this example, what if you have a family member who is just bringing you down? And I also heard from Jordan Peterson, his analogy that he used with this was a lifeguard, the job of a lifeguard. So when the lifeguard goes to save the person, they hold their leg out between them, and then the person's flailing around, and the lifeguard comes up, and they're like, hey, I want to save you, but you need to calm down. And if the person just starts clinging on to them, what does the lifeguard have to do?
Punch him in the face.
The lifeguard has to push them away.
Yeet!
And that might seem pretty cruel, right? But what if that person drags you down with them?
Right.
Yeah, that person's just going to
Facts.
drown themselves and drown you at the same time.
We should have started with that analogy.
Yeah.
So,
I like my workout partner one better.
They're both good.
I mean, sometimes you
It's
have
not that
to
bad.
you have to push them away in order to save yourself.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people need that push to sometimes people need to reach that bottom they need to drown basically to realize how they are, like what they need
Or
to
be
change.
dead
Yeah.
because
You
they
know what?
drowned.
You know what the best part about 2020 was? Is like I hit rock bottom. There was nowhere to go but up, bro. Like that's the best part. That's how I looked at it. I mean,
Start
my
from the
head up.
bottom, now you're here.
exactly. Like
Yup.
once you get kicked
Huge
down
facts.
so far, like easily there's nowhere to go but up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not always. I mean, something worse could always happen, right? But you got to look at it that way. Like, sweet, I can go way further than I am right now.
Yeah.
It's like stocks, dude.
Stay optimistic.
It's like
Fucking
a financial
send it.
episode, right? You hit rock bottom of the stock market, you invest, and then it skyrockets, and you're back on top, baby.
Yeah,
Hell yeah,
baby.
brother.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to family, just because surrounding yourself with the right person, it's tough with family because, I mean, you're kind of stuck with them by blood. And it's really hard to come
I
up
was
with that
gonna say, you don't
excuse,
have a
though,
choice.
too. Because in reality, you can cut people out of your lives if you really want to. You just want to make sure you don't cut ties with the rest of your family. You just want to let them know reasons why, because your family can be toxic. They can be pushing you down. They could be, I mean, lifeguard analogy, they can be pulling you down with them. But it's just so hard because you are attached to them. You've been with them your entire life, so it's just, yeah. And it could be scary too because since they are family, they're also kind of your comfort and your support system. But at some point, you just have to grow as a person, and it's hard to not cut ties, though. So honestly, if a family member is bringing you down, how do you tell them, hey, I need to get away from this? Because honestly, I don't know.
You know,
And in that situation, it would have to be a pretty extreme situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you would, I mean, I've never had to do this, but I think you would tell them, hey, I care about you, and I care about you so much that I'm willing to like separate our kinship in order for you to get better, in order for me to not drown with you.
Yeah.
I've got a perfect example of this, and I need to do this, but it's so hard. Like, how do you tell somebody this, right? And he listens to it. My older brother, like, I bet you guys didn't even know I had an older brother. You guys do, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
You do?
oh god, he's just
Joe.
he's
Wait.
he's not on the same wavelength as me and Joe, and it's very exhausting trying to constantly care for somebody and tell them, hey, I see you're going to make a mistake. How do you not see it coming, right? And they don't want to hear it, and they do it anyway, and then they reach out. You feel bad, so you reach out, and then just same thing. It's a constant cycle, dude. And like, to me, it's exhausting to the point where I get a text. I'm like, dude, I'm not even gonna look at it. Like, I know whatever you're about to say is crazy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's tough. Like, what
Yeah.
do you do?
That's that saying, don't cast pearls before swine.
Yeah,
If he
it's
doesn't
true.
listen to anything you say.
There it is.
It's just exhausting,
Thanks.
man. And then I could talk way more into it, but I'm not gonna like shit on somebody. So
I think I relate better to him than you do, obviously, because I'm a nicer person.
Yes.
But
okay,
but no.
fuck me.
Rude.
But me and him kind of we get along because we do agree on similar situations. But I know you feel the same way about our own mother, and I don't know. I kind of like to play both sides, and I get along with both our older brother and our mom. Where I don't know. Just seems like we kind of get along, but they kind of go into the deep end on certain issues, and I don't want to get into it too much. But like, you know, I see them both pretty often, but I'll call them both out. I call them crazy,
Yeah.
and they'll probably hear this and they'll be like, I see.
I'm playing
no,
both
I've called him-
sides. That way I always come out on top.
Exactly. But no, I've called them a little bit crazy on their end, but I still see their perspective on life views. But as we said, you know, we're family. You know, they're not gonna go anywhere,
I think
and I still love them.
I think in that situation, it probably takes a matter of kind of balance. So, Chris, I'm sure if your brother reaches out to you and he needs genuine help, you will be there. But if he just, like you said, if he just texts you like something random that you don't care about, you're just gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's really just the balance right there. You're still family. You'll still support each other when you guys need it. But, I mean, in reality, people don't need that support every single day for every single little tiny matter.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah,
Yeah, family.
Good.
I can.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of have a situation with my family as well where it's kind of similar. So I have a cousin who I'm sure honestly he won't hear this because we don't talk. I have a particular cousin where it's not that we don't get along, we just don't see eye to eye on most things. And we never had a conversation about it per se, but I just kind of feel like he knows where I stand and I know where he stands. And I think that we realized that we would kind of be toxic to each other. We're like, I would kind of seem toxic to him. He would seem toxic to me. And we just kind of like, we just go our separate ways because we know there's no point in having the arguments. There's no point in us really trying to communicate that much. And as much as like that person is family and like I care about them, I think we just both realize it's better that we keep our lives and our relationships separate.
yeah. Sometimes you have to do that, and you'll have a mutual understanding about it, which is nice. It's always
Yeah.
nice when you can kind of like still come together, and even if you don't see eye to eye, you're still able to hang out. But sometimes it's just not feasible.
Yeah, like on
especially
the
if you're that
rare
drastically
occasion.
different.
Yeah, on the rare occasion that we actually see each other, like we get along. Like we don't, it's not like we see each other and we're automatically at each other's throats.
yeah,
But,
you can coexist.
Yeah, but we just don't we don't seek each other out for things. Like I don't just randomly message him or like reach out to him, and he doesn't reach out to me at all. And I'm okay with that, and I'm sure he's okay with that too. That's just kind of like where we're at. And I think sometimes, I mean, it's nice when you can kind of come to that mutual realization without actually having the conversation. But I mean, I do understand where there's situations where you need to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes
It
it's
kinda
kind of. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. I I was gonna say, kind of like getting back into the surrounding yourself with kind of more so your friends. The being able to reach out to each other part is probably one of the best feelings that you could ever have. A good example.
Absolutely.
My roommate currently.
Cletus?
No, the other one. My boy Arroyo, dude, I've known since basic training, and now we're roommates here at the same base. Pretty great. Now, there was one time I remember, I think it was about a year and a half ago, where his car was having some problems with his belt, and he texted me. He's like, hey, I'm at work right now. Can you go to AutoZone, pick up this this belt for me, and, I'll pay you back. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, fucking drop the hat. I was there. I got it for him, and then drove to him to work, got everything fixed up, and then literally I think it was like a day or two later, my car had some problems. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm at work. My car is having problems. You mind heading over here? He's like, I got you. And, he comes, reciprocates the favor, and it was a great feeling to have, like to always have that person who's ready to go for you at the tip of the hat. Tracy Lawrence made a great song, Find Out Who Your Friends Are. And if you have not heard the song, it's a country song, but it kind of describes having those great friends that you can always rely on.
Yeah, and I think finding those really good friends too, a lot of the time they kind of are going through the same thing in life as you. I think Chris has mentioned it before, but it's really hard to meet people here in like Omaha who like their whole family's here and all they know is Omaha. So when you find a friend that they moved here all by themselves as an independent person, they have no one else, especially like because it's pretty much us, because yeah, exactly. Like we don't have family here. We came here knowing absolutely no one. So when you meet someone else like that, you can vibe with them very easily. Yeah. You guys can support each other so much better. And I mean, you mentioned it with like girlfriends and stuff like that too. Like
it's important to me in a relationship. That's important. If you both like, I've only ever dated girls where their family's here. Like that's what they know. They don't know. They haven't been out, experienced the world. That independent is a good word. Like they haven't been independent, like completely independent, right? And find their way in life and find their own way of thinking, right? Like Joey, I think he gets along with my parents and my family a little bit better because he hasn't necessarily left home. I mean, he's been away for a few months at a time, but whereas I've been away since I was like 16, I was getting out of the house, so just trying to move away, right? And then it was feasible.
I would disagree with that, but go ahead.
It was feasible when I joined the military. And I was forced to be on my own completely. And then it just opens your eyes. You see everything. But we're getting a little off topic because we're not talking about like that. What we're talking about is how to surround yourself with the right people, right? So, again, friends have always been more family to me than family, like my entire life. Even going through school. Yep. Randy knows this. Like, I'd hit Randy up like, yo, let's go do something. Like, all right, cool. I don't talk to, those awkward conversations with my parents. I have those awkward conversations with my friends, right? Friends get me through everything, whereas my family doesn't even know I'm struggling half the time. So it's important to me. Like, friendships are the most important thing in my life. So, I mean, sometimes I'm a dickhead to all of you, but it's tough love, right?
No doubt.
Or it's just me being an asshole.
Straight fact.
Yeah, we're just really nice, I guess.
Deep down, I'm a really good friend. So even if you want to punch,
he's not that bad.
But so the qualities in those friends are really important and what keeps you going. Like if you guys were like, well, Chris, I don't want to hear it, or like, gee, Chris, like maybe you should just move back home and like things will be easier. Like that's not what I want to hear. Like you guys are like, all right, here, how about we build up? Like let's keep pushing, bro. You'll get there. Like that's what you need.
Well, Chris, we actually had a conversation the other day in the chat where you were talking about trying to get, I guess, stationed in Germany or something. Yeah. Yep. And we all kind of gave you a little bit of tough love on that one.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, because I forget. So specifically, Chris is a photographer. He thought, hey, I'll move to Germany and my photography business is just going to blow up. And I'm just like, Chris, that's a terrible mindset. It's like, does that mean if you stay in Omaha, it's not going to?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you can't, especially as something out of your control, like, yeah, you can't just do that. So we had to be those good friends. We had to surround him and be like, hey, Chris, you're looking at this at the wrong way.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that you said that.
Yeah, I was just sitting there just like, the fuck's wrong with you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to surround yourself with the people who will say that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we talked about your friends, your family, your coworkers, right? Like it can be exhausting, but you need to make sure you're hanging out with the right people, the people that push you, make you to grow. For example, me and Talon pulling Randy out here, telling him to move and get his ass out here already, right?
Do it.
They're gonna support you. Nobody wants to see you fail if you're hanging out with the right people, right? The people who do want to see you fail are those people that you should not be associating yourself with, right? So just keep that in mind. You know, if you feel exhausted after hanging out with someone, it's probably not the right person to be with. And I mean, that goes for relationships, friends, like I said, family, coworkers, right? And have that tough conversation with someone and be like, hey, I am being stressed out by you. This is why. This is my way of thinking. I need someone who's going to push me to grow, and don't be that leech that like constantly needs that, right? Be that person that can take their advice, grow, and then go back if you still need help.
All right, guys, this has been Lessons Learned. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and go follow our other social media pages linked in the description. From all of us here at Lessons Learned, have a good day and see ya!